Is presented by Calvo's Insurance, a legacy of trust, serving Micronesia since 1938. Matson, celebrating 25 years of commitment to Guam, Micronesia, and the CNMI. Cars Plus, home of Guam's first and only lifetime powertrain warranty. Visit carsplusguam.com for details. McDonald's of Guam, I'm loving it, and King's Restaurant, serving your local breakfast, lunch, and dinner favorites for over 45 years.
Ahead on Primetime, a bill that authorizes funding for a new hospital, public health, and behavioral health facility is back on the table. Plus, the agenda is set for the next legislative session. And the Pandemic Unemployment Assistance Program is set to conclude at the beginning of September.
Hafide, good evening, everyone. Guahusi Isaiah Uggan, and thanks for tuning in. A bill to authorize the financing of a new $1 billion medical center for excellence that will include a new hospital, public health, and behavioral health facilities is back in play. Senator Joe San Augustine brought his measure back to the committee to be amended, and today the new version underwent a public hearing.
All in favor, please.
Faced with stiff opposition to the measure during session earlier this month, Senator San Augustine pulled back his bill to incorporate the concerns raised. His vice chair, Senator Amanda Shelton, read out what was changed in the amended version.
To ensure that the financing is not treated as debt or indebtedness that is subject to the Government of Guam debt ceiling, clarifying that the Government of Guam is the rightful owner of the property, and lastly, to make it clear that the intent of the Guam legislature aligns with existing statutes that authorize GITA to issue lease financing bonds to the healthcare agencies for the purpose of the 21st Century Healthcare Center of Excellence.
Hospital CEO Lillian Posadas was the lone administration official to show up to testify.
I understand from the concerns of other legislative leaders that, financially there is a concern, but, ethically and legally, we have a duty. The hospital, as it stands right now, it's well established that it needs to be replaced.
GITA did submit written testimony to clarify its recommended changes, but it was clear that several senators, including Tello Taitagui, still had concerns and still had questions.
But we know that the cost for a 30-year lease or even payback is $60 million. Not 35. It's a huge concern, but it sounds to me like this public hearing is going to go straight, this bill is going to go straight to the session floor, and then we're going to go into the committee of the whole, and we're going to see you again, Lillian.
Having been publicly heard now, the amended bill can go back on the session agenda. For Guam's News Network, I'm Nestor Lecanto.
Late this afternoon, the Rules Committee met and San Augustine successfully moved to place the medical center bill on the agenda for the next session, which is now scheduled for Monday, August 2nd. As Nestor Lecanto reports, there are several other significant pieces of legislation on the agenda, including a pair of bills to fast-track payments of the RISE Act.
Senators have been rushing to get the RISE Act measures out, their sense of urgency fueled by what they believe is the growing public clamor for more pandemic assistance. Speaker Therese Terlahi let colleagues know during the Rules Committee meeting what's coming.
I'd also like to note, with the consent of the body, that Bills 164 and Bill 75, both are relative to the RISE Act, are set for a public hearing in the upcoming week, and if they are reported out of committee by the time we have session, I would like to make a motion at that time to place them on the session agenda.
Bill 75 by Senator Jim Moylan would increase the RISE payments to $1,000 for individuals and $2,000 for couples. Bill 164 by Terlahi, Moylan, and Senator Joe San Augustine would remove the $30 million cap on RISE payments and give Revenue more flexibility in what documents are needed to file an application. The public hearing for Bill 74 is scheduled for next Wednesday. The hearing for 164 will be on Thursday. Also on the agenda was San Augustine's bill to authorize financing for a new high-rise, high-tech corrections facility and a confirmation vote on the nomination of attorney Alberto Tolentino as the next Superior Court judge. For Guam's News Network, I'm Nestor Lecanto.
After taking on these bills, lawmakers are expected to spend the rest of August deliberating on the Budget Act, which they must pass by the end of the month. In other news, the Coast Guard is searching for 2 mariners after their 12-foot black Kodiak skiff was reported overdue during their voyage from Saipan to Guam. Tyler Matsanani has this report.
2 mariners departed Saipan Sunday morning and were expected to arrive to Guam later that night, but 5 days later and there's still no sign of them. Coast Guard Search and Rescue Specialist Lee Putman says they got the call on Wednesday from the wife of one of the men.
We searched Wednesday and Thursday, and we have the cutter, one of our cutters out right now off of Rhoda that has been out there since yesterday searching, and we have a U.S. Navy P-8 today helping us out. They've been out there for most of the afternoon.
The mariners are identified as Zhao Wei Quinn and Yun Lu Red. Joining the efforts are the Guam Fire Department, Guam Police Department, along with Anderson Air Force Base Security and the Retidian Rangers, who are searching the northwestern part of the island for any signs of the men and their 12-foot-long inflatable boat.
They're still working at that. They haven't completed the searches up that way yet, but they're working on it.
KUAM asked if the weather may have played a role in hindering the men from reaching the island, but he explained that it was unlikely.
The weather's it's progressively getting worse now, but Sunday through Wednesday or Thursday, it really wasn't that bad out. It was quite calm Wednesday night.
In fact, according to Lee, it was nearly flat.
It was a 12-foot boat. It's a long way. It's 107 miles island to island. And who knows what they had to help them navigate. You know, if they didn't have a decent compass or GPS or anything like that, it makes it very difficult.
According to the wife of one of the missing men, the last text message she received from her husband stated that they could see Guam. If anyone has any information, you are urged to contact the Guam Coast Guard at 671-355-4824.
Superior Court presiding Judge Alberto Lamarana has ordered a forensic examination for 27-year-old John Richard Bass III. He has pled not guilty to the murder of 39-year-old Virginia Lagonia by reason of mental illness. Bass is accused of murdering Lagonia at the Hotel Mayana last month and stabbing a 19-year-old woman. A competency hearing is scheduled for August 20th at 10 a.m. Trial is scheduled to begin on August 4th for joiner Scott Sked and Rudy Kanata. The two are accused of murdering former UMATIC Mayor Daniel Sanchez last April. During today's proceedings, a motion was made to sever their cases. As we reported, attorney Terrence Timblin was the latest attorney appointed to represent Sked. He marks her 6th legal counsel. Sked waived her rights to a speedy trial. A hearing on the motion to separate the cases has been scheduled for July 28th. And the Attorney General's independent investigative team has released the findings of an autopsy on 49-year-old Fowler Fabian. The results confirm he died of a single gunshot wound. Fabian was shot into Manin earlier this month by an off-duty police officer. The AG's office will provide more information as the investigation continues. They have already through released surveillance video of the incident and conducted several interviews. The ITT also confirmed a knife was confiscated at the scene of the incident. Legislation that would provide a big boost to medical funding for Guam is one step closer to passing. A House committee unanimously approved the Supporting Medicaid in the U.S. Territories Act. Congressman Michael San Nicolas says the measure extends for 8 years for the 83-17 federal funding match for territories, including Guam. In a news release, San Nicolas said the enhanced federal funding will translate to over $8 billion in cumulative health care funding for our Medicaid eligible, which also includes our COFA brothers and sisters. Governor Lulian Guerrero also welcomed the news, saying she continues to push for a permanent solution beyond the 8 years. The governor, who is headed to D.C., said during her meetings with the White House and Congress, she will continue to push for full passage of the House resolution. Don't expect the rain to let up anytime soon. The National Weather Service says you can expect scattered showers this week and next week. According to Guam Homeland Security and the Office of Civil Defense, we could see another 1 to 3 inches of rain through Sunday afternoon with higher rainfall amounts in the CNMI. Additionally, a high surface advisory will be in effect for all of the Marianas starting at 4 a.m. Saturday through Tuesday afternoon. Some sad news to report as Ivan Blanco, representative in the 22nd Northern Marianas Commonwealth Legislature, passed away earlier today. In a proclamation from CNMI Governor Ralph Torres, he states, quote, Congressman Blanco was a true statesman in every sense of the title. He was humble, intelligent, and passionate, and he held a deep love for our island and the people who call them home, end quote. The Republican Party of Guam issuing a release this afternoon with Chairman Juan Carlos Benitez saying, quote, he was not only a great public servant, but a dedicated family man and friend. His leadership will be missed, end quote. Blanco was 45 and is survived by his wife, Carmen, and their children. Stick around for more news here on Primetime. You're watching KUAM.
Honey, do you want some milk?
Do you ever wonder how your favorite products make their way into your local stores? Most arrive on state-of-the-art Matson vessels that transport containers of food, household items, equipment, and supplies into the islands every week. Because we know that you depend on us, we work closely with our partners to ensure that our shipments arrive on time, all the time, so you can find your favorite products when you need them. We transport the region's most precious cargo that supports successful businesses and promotes a better quality of life for our families. Matson is proud to have been the hometown shipping carrier for Guam, the CNMI, and Micronesia for the past 25 years, and you can count on us to be here for generations to come.
And instant prizes from Foot Locker and Burger King. Win the best-selling 2021 Toyota Corolla LE, the crossover SUV 2021 Toyota RAV4 LE, and the dynamic luxury SUV 2021 BMW X1. The more you shop, the more chance to win. In the Micronesia Malls, shop and win.
Social distancing may be the new norm, but connection will always be our tradition. Through good times and tough times, we remain connected with you. Masks may be the new fashion, but protection will always be our style. You can always count on us to protect the things that matter the most. Sanitizing may be the new routine, but caring will always be our practice. We care about your loved ones and the things you value the most. And as we welcome our new normal, one thing remains certain: we will always be here for you. We're open and ready to serve you. Calvo's Insurance, a legacy of trust.
It's a special delivery to your inbox every week with your KUAM News Roundup, program advisories, and promotions. Sign up for the weekly KUAM Digital Digest today on KUAM.com.
Welcome back. The Pandemic Unemployment Program, which has poured nearly $1 billion in direct assistance to local residents who lost their jobs or are underemployed, is winding down. It will officially wrap up the first week of September, and Labor Director David De La Sola says he's seen a drop in the amount of weekly PUA payments from $17.5 million to $14.8 million. Meanwhile, as part of the transition, claimants will be required to provide proof of 3 job searches starting August 1st.
We have a lot of information that have been printed, step-by-step tutorials. We have a video tutorial on how exactly to put in your job search on weekly claims when you file, and guidance. So, you know, if you haven't seen it, our website, the dol.guam.gov website.
De La Sola says he's gotten feedback from the call center that some claimants don't want to submit the job search information. He reminds them that if they don't, they won't qualify for the pandemic unemployment assistance.
It's only 5 weeks left, and we're trying to prepare you for September 4th, when job searches stop and PUA stops. Everything stops. You're on your own. You can still use Hire Guam to help you look for work, job fairs and all that. So we're just trying to get you up and running.
De La Sola says they're now shifting focus to the Business Para y Tau Tau program, which subsidizes businesses for a limited period when they hire the unemployed. In other news, the Guam Department of Education gave an update on the distribution plan for the pandemic electronic benefits transfer cards. Here's more. The Guam Department of Education has announced that the pandemic electronic benefits transfer cards could be disseminated to students as early as August 20th. The PEBT cards are funded through the U.S. Department of Agriculture, which allows the recipients to purchase food. The program, which is similar to the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, also known as SNAP or food stamps, aims to help low-income families and address the fact that school meals were harder to access while schools were shut down during the COVID-19 pandemic. GDOE Superintendent John Fernandez said that they are working on the details of the distribution plan to ensure the process is as smooth as possible.
What I've been hearing about, again, you've been talking about the RISE Act and how that's going to work and when that's going to happen. And the only thing I keep thinking about is the long lines at the mayor's offices that that have come about because of people wanting to make sure they're ready to go. So it's my plan. I've got to check in with my staff to make sure I look in on the distribution plan for these cards, which are expected to go out towards late August. I think August 20th is the target date.
As KUAM News reported, recipients of the free and reduced lunch at Dodea and all GDOE students, including recently graduated seniors who were enrolled in school year 2020 to 2021, qualifies for the program. Each GDOE student per household will receive a card of their own and is expected to get up to $1,200 to $1,300. The PEBT card is valid for a year, which means it will not expire until 365 days after the distribution date. Private schools and charter schools do not qualify for the PEBT cards. Fernandez said that's because they must be a participant of the National School Lunch Program. Adult use cannabis rules and regulations may be sent to the legislature for approval by the end of next month. This from Cannabis Control Board Chair Attorney Vanessa Williams. Williams says the rules and regs had been under review at the Attorney General's office, but they were sent back to the CCB for minor changes.
There are a couple categories of items, and within those categories, there'll probably be quite a few changes, but most of it related to terminology and in terms of readability of the rules. So the comments they had are really coming from the perspective of both the enforcement side. So when the agencies are looking at this and seeing, okay, what rules apply to a retailer or a cultivator, where can I find this in one section or maybe just two sections in the rules as opposed to scattered throughout.
Williams says she anticipates senators will receive the rules and regs by end of August. The legislature has 90 days to approve or disapprove them. Also holding up the full implementation of adult use cannabis, the procurement of a seed-to-sell program by Public Health. Animal Wellness Action's Wayne Purcell raising alarms about a 600% increase in the importation of fighting cocks to Guam. Purcell cites shipping documents and Department of Agriculture records that indicate fighting cocks are being shipped to Guam from Oklahoma and Hawaii. Purcell says his concerns when raised to local government officials have fallen on deaf ears, but he said federal legal actions taken stateside are proof local cockers are playing with fire.
I just think the people who are doing this are tempting fate to fight these animals that are risking a felony offense. And let me just remind your listeners, every count is up to a $250,000 fine and 5 years in prison.
Purcell also called out Senator Pito Terlahi. Senator Terlahi had reacted to Purcell's comments on cock importation in a release titled "Give Me Liberty of Give Me Death." Purcell said with rampant drug-related crime prevalent on Guam, there's plenty for the public safety chair to focus on.
Illegal activities that actually do threaten people. And I've been hearing from some of my friends on Guam that they're concerned about a surge in crime. I understand he leads the committee that looks at public safety. I wish he would focus on stopping that illegal behavior and stop defending this illegal behavior.
Purcell said he also provided federal authorities with local names and addresses of those who received shipments of cocks. The Department of Public Health Works has purchased 27 used Zodea buses and plans to procure another 30 once a funding source is identified. Public Works Deputy Director Linda Ibanez says although they currently have 90 active bus drivers, they're looking to hire more.
So that's our challenge right now. As you know, we have bus drivers that retired, resigned. So our bus operations, school bus drivers is a continuous announcement. So we are hiring. We're in the process of hiring. We have additional 5 more bus drivers coming on to our department.
Ibanez says they are ready for the upcoming school year to start and all their bus drivers are certified. While they wait for their guidelines to be approved on social distancing, students will be required to wear a mask before boarding. The bus transportation schedule is expected to be released within a week. Sports is next. Keep it here.
Your community calendar is brought to you by Taco Bell. Whether it's your first meal or your fourth meal, we've got you covered. Taco Bell, live Mas.
Summer is here, and at Cars Plus, we have the perfect Jeep for your summer adventures. Whether you're going off-road or just getting ready to hit the beach down south, make this the summer event you find your Jeep, like the 2021 Jeep Wrangler or the 2021 Jeep Gladiator. Equipped with Guam's only lifetime powertrain warranty. Call us at 477-7807 or visit our website at carsplusguam.com to schedule a test drive today. Cars Plus, driven by you.
Half a day.
Hi.
That will be $20, please.
I forgot my Mobile Smiles Driver's Rewards card.
No worries. You can now use your registered mobile number to earn points.
Can I use my mobile number to redeem rewards?
Sure. Just show us your photo ID or driver's license.
That's easy.
KUAM Sports is brought to you by Docomo Pacific. Better together.
Former Team Guam Olympic weightlifter Julius Naranjo is in Tokyo coaching Philippines athlete Heidelin Diaz. Naranjo relocated to the PI in 2018 and started remote weightlifting with athletes.
We basically more so traveled abroad and we worked with other athletes from different countries. It was really interesting because I got to work with one of the best athletes from the Philippines, and then I get to work with some of the best athletes from other countries, and it just broadened my perspective of how I should adjust, how I should work with programming, how I should understand how elite weightlifters are in this setting.
Julius says it's been challenging at times, but worth the work he's been putting in with the athletes. With the Olympic Games pushed back a year, the preparation was 5 years in the making.
It was quite challenging, but I think the challenge was so that it gave us more time to be the best shape and to kind of go through some of these struggles so that when we compete in the Olympics, it will be more meaningful because of the challenges and everything we have to overcome to get here.
Heidelin Diaz is an Olympic veteran who has competed in the Beijing Games in 2008, London Games in 2012, and was a silver medalist in the Rio Games in 2016. Diaz was also the first female Olympian from the Philippines to medal in the Olympic Games.
Just being here in itself is so amazing. It reminds me of the time I traveled representing Guam back in 2017 in the Asian Indoor Martial Arts Games. Just people always said that this setting, the setting back then in IMAG was similar to what an Olympics would be. And I'm starting to see it. Of course, it's different because everyone's wearing masks. We test every day and just following all the precautions because of the general population of Japan not being very keen on having the Olympics.
The goal for Tokyo is to win the Philippines' first gold medal. Regardless of the outcome, stepping onto the podium is something very attainable, says Naranjo. Heidelin is ranked number 2 in the world, right behind China's top lifter.
Even if there's no spectators, the amount of pressure the Olympics brings is something that you don't usually experience. And so like first-time Olympians usually get very nervous, but Heidelin's a veteran, so she has all the experience. So I think for where we are right now in terms of preparation, I think we have a very good chance. And yes, our goals are very much attainable.
How did that feel just seeing the Guam flag there, being at the Olympic Games,
being a coach for the Philippines, but still having that Guam tie?
You know, it was always a dream of mine to qualify for the Olympics for Guam. But you know, things happen, and here I am now. So it's you know, this journey was really tough, and just to be able to step on in Tokyo, and to see, you know, my flag there, I had to stop and to take that moment to really soak it in, because I mean, yes, I'm coaching for the Philippines, but you know, I am Guamanian. I'm from Guam, born and raised. You know, and I always represent my country, and you know, and I never forget your roots, right? So I am Filipino blood, so of course this you know, I'm doing this for my father's side, you know, and just trying to represent, you know, who I am, where I'm from. You know, I want to do big things for my country and for my island.
Make sure to catch the opening ceremony of this year's Olympic Games in Tokyo tonight at 8:55 p.m. on KUAM TV8.
KUAM Sports is brought to you by Docomo Pacific. Better together.
It only gets better with more. Customize and save with the fastest internet speeds in the Marianas by adding mobile, phone, and TV to your bundle with Business Bundles Plus. Docomo Pacific Business. Work better together.
Get up and move, Guam! Join the mayors of Talifofon, Inilahan for Haan and Minagov, a great day to celebrate the reopening of our island at the Valley of the Ladi. Saturday, July 31st from 10 to 5 p.m. Local artists, farmers, and Guam-made products will be on hand while you enjoy performances from our best cultural entertainers and musicians. Enjoy the finest food that Southern Guam has to offer. Help us open our newest attraction, the Micronesia Cultural Village. Tickets can be purchased online at valleyoftheLadi.com. Haan and Minagov is brought to you by the Guam Visitors Bureau, Guam Economic Development Authority, Valley of the Ladi, Jungle Riverboat Cruise, Kloppenberg Enterprises, Para Ipribetsu Itautauta, the Guam Brewery, Island Beverage Distributors, and the stations of KUAM.
Welcome back. It's a great promotion from Uno Go called Office Party One On Demand. And over the course of the next several weeks, we'll be featuring the lucky winners. Check out this week's winner.
The Coast 360 Mighty Branch was treated to lunch with all of their favorites from Lone Star Steakhouse, delivered to their office today thanks to Nicole Raqueno from their team. Raqueno is a member relations associate.
I just actually got hired here. So I'm a new hire. Just wanted to give my work a little something to spice up the day. Seeing them work so hard has honestly been really inspiring. And the team here has been really helpful in terms of guiding my whole batch of new hires. So of course, rewarding them with something for their hard work and for their helpfulness and guidance to us, I felt would have been appreciated.
Nicole was the very first winner of this promotion, where lucky registered users are given a chance weekly to win a luncheon for their office.
I was really excited because a week before, I was telling my coworkers I'm gonna win this prize. So I never win anything. So I was really thankful, and I feel really blessed to share this with my other coworkers.
The all-inclusive lunch was delivered right to their office entrance, courtesy of Lone Star and the Uno Go delivery app. To enter your company or team, all you have to do is register on the Uno Go app or website. Follow Uno Go Guam on Facebook or Instagram and send a direct message with your name, contact, and email address. The promotion continues for the next several weeks with delectable lunch offerings from Jamaican Grill, the Sheridan, Pika's, Adjacent, Sings Cafe, and Beach and Shrimp. Good luck!
And before we close out the news tonight, our latest round of birthday shoutouts from the Coastal Creamery Birthday Club.
Happy July 23rd birthday to Izzy Gogui, otherwise known to you and me, is Isaiah. Happy birthday number 6, and we love you so much as your family. And Dorothy Metanonia also blows out the candles today, so happy blessed birthday to our sister in Foley, Alabama. Your family says we love and miss you, and please enjoy your special day. Your birthday shout out is coming from Deb, June, Peter, Dee, Xavier, and Lala. So Izzy and Dorothy, happy birthday to you.
And it is that time of the week where we announce a lucky winner of a new Coat's Own Creamery cake.
This week's winner of a yummy Cold Stone Creamery birthday club is a Liberation Day baby, Celine Johanna Pinzon Keto. Happy birthday, Celine, and we will be in touch with you to let you know how you and your family can redeem your cake. Please enjoy, please be safe, and have a happy extended birthday.
That's going to do it for us here on KUAM News Primetime. Guahu si Isaiah Ugin. Thanks for watching.